Dancing with the Electric Dragons of Venus by Robert Garnham.
Pretty, pert, and perpendicular, it towers with purpose, humming with an excited delight. Seething and steaming from its seams, it seems as it gleams the most obscene machine. And me? I'm strapped to the top of it, my legs in the air and feeling every nervous vibration shuddering through me, a nation's expectation. Yet no poster boy am I, no poser, no celebrity endorser, no marriage proposer. I grip my hands tight on the arms of the seat, the checklist complete, my heart skips a beat. But at the back of my mind, the usual demons. I'm hardly a genius. I'm gonna fly this baby all the way to Venus, even though it looks uncannily just like a pencil.
Commander Garnham, are you ready? Yes. Commander Garnham, could you please address launch control in the appropriate manner? We repeat, are you ready?
Affirmative.
Countdown commencing. 12, 11, 10.
Tell my wife I love her very much.
Commander Garnham, you haven't got a wife. 9, 8, 7.
I know, it was a joke.
There's a time and a place, Commander Garnham. 6, 5, 4.
It was from that song.
Never been much of a fan of Elton John. 3, 2.
You know, I really could do with a wee.
1. Ignition.
This ain't no dance, no romance. It's more like a kick in the pants, shuddering like a bastard, double vision. No one ever said it would be quite this loud. My chewing gum goes flying from my mouth across the capsule, sticks to the cabin pressure monitoring dials, ear-splitting, shuddering, shaking. A bolt falls from the ceiling panel, lands in my lap as I grip on tight. It's happening, it's working. I'm no longer a blast-off virgin. This rickety rocket, this super-duper booster, thrusting up beyond the atmosphere, away from gravity, into zero G. I almost spilled my cup of tea. The bolt on my lap suddenly rises up, and everything goes quiet. Am I in orbit?
This is launch control. Affirmative, Commander Garnham. You were hiding behind the Hubble telescope, but we can see you now. Congratulations, Commander Garnham, and welcome to space.
It's one bleeding big step for a man, I don't care what Lance Armstrong says. A glance out the window shows planet Earth doing that hanging there thing that it does. Holy freaking motherfucking Jesus, how did I end up here? A tiny tin with lights aglim and Earth in the window getting smaller. A panic sets in. I feel within a rising, all-encompassing dread that suddenly makes me want to shout, "Open the door! I'm getting out!" The first gay man on Venus I could be, representing my community. Oh, the hours of training, the weightlessness, the forms, the paperwork, the tests. All in the years and months before my mission, before they realised there was something missing. Time we sent a gay up, they said, and here I am, engulfed in dread.
Commander Garnham, we can see you're stressed. Just so you know, we're all impressed with your progress. We've got 3 stories for you, randomly selected by computer program to ease your passage and take your mind off the fact you'll be millions of miles from home, because it would give anyone the willies being millions of miles from home. Lord knows I wouldn't want to be millions of miles from home. So, as you're up there, shortly to be millions and millions of miles from home, we thought we'd share 3 stories that they might imbue in you a mystical perspective from your own community, seeing as though you'll shortly be millions of miles from home, perhaps even billions.
A breeze block mop cupboard mocks with bleach smells those dreams cherished most. The airborne fizz of chlorine tabs, damp clipboard paperwork and a Bic biro on a string. I mean, who would want to steal a Bic biro? They're like 11p. Concrete floor, concrete ceiling. A place of business, all cash, no feeling. All hope blunted, senses reeling. He's a supermarket janitor. A scamp of a lad, let's call him Jack. All wide-eyed innocence and a head full of stories. Jack, A-levels not quite as impressive as his hopes. He mopes and he mops while he mopes. Oh, the drudgery. His friends are all at university. And this is no autobiography. Jack, you see, is me. He's a supermarket janitor. Did I mention that this was 1992? Bill Clinton, Nigel Mansell, the Maastricht Treaty, rave culture, shock, horror, video nasties, John Major, yuppies, it's 1992 and Jack is a supermarket janitor. He dreams of escape, suburbia's sweaty embrace, and making out with the man of his dreams. But the world is not so keen for people as he, you see. It's 1992, and he's a supermarket janitor.
Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. The future has passed him by, his well of love is almost dry.
Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. He'll be stuck forever here, he's almost been here half a year. Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. Life just gets in the way, nobody suspects he's hurting. I mean, it's 1992. Jack can only guess what it means. He feels an emptiness inside. A world before there was any pride. Love is just a fallacy. And all his hopes have died, so he mops as he mopes, and he mopes while he mops, polishes, dusts and cleans, and then he sees the man of his dreams. Beauty ensconced at checkout 31. A winning smile and something of a flirty one. 1990s curtain hairstyle, his eyes peering between two great fronds of mousy brown hair, like a wild thing in a hedgerow of potential orgasm. His centre parting so straight, you'd need a ruler to calibrate its infinite straightness. Straighter than the straightest thing in a world in which everything is absolutely straight, loud and leery. With the exception of Jack and possibly Julian Clary. Even his name oozes raw sexual energy. Simon. Simon. Hey, Jack would say. Hey. And Simon would say, hey. And Jack would go on his way back to the mop cupboard and sob into the squeeges. Or in the canteen queue, Simon is there. What can he do? Such a pleasant moment, a lovely surprise, the flick of his head to get the hair out of his eyes. Hey, Jack would say, and Simon would say, hey, and Jack would go on his way and sob into the sausage roll display. His loose-fitting supermarket uniform, top shirt button rakishly undone, his nose peering out from between cascading hair. There are bargains on offer and magic in the air. Hey, Jack would say, and Simon would say, hey, and Jack would go on his way and hate himself for being gay. Oh, whatever can he do? Because when the night is dark and your heart is afire and your conscience screams, yet you feel like a liar, that every damn hopelessness clings to your soul, repelling the truth, pulls you into a hole through which sweet love is but a hope and a flirt. And the world as it stands is filled with such hurt. Oh, whatever can he do? It's 1992. One day, under the vivid fluorescent lights of this suburban supermarket, while sweeping spaghetti strands, Jack did see a sudden pulsating, sensuous shimmer, a supernatural sci-fi glimmer suffused with serendipitous sensibility, and with a sudden poof, a lone figure merges from the miasma. An abrupt and ghostly manifestation dusts off his Victorian tailcoat, adjusts his shining top hat, curls his elegant twirling moustache, and begins to browse the cheap fish fingers. Jack can but stare, aghast. He almost drops his dustpan and brush. "My lad," quoth the caped gentleman, "do not be alarmed, for 'tis but a cheap stage trick. I actually got here in my Ford Fiesta. I am the Great Rotundo, hypnotist to the stars, friend of kings and sultans and stars, and I was once on Saturday night at the London Palladium. Tell me, for I see thou art vexed, what ails thee, lad? Oh, scamp of a lad, if thou couldst point me towards the buy one get one free mackerel fillets, then I shall grant any wish of thy choosing. For it is in my power to bend people's minds and change their behaviours. I've made princes into kings, beggars into millionaires, and Angela Rippon cluck like a chicken for the amusement of those watching on ITV. With a wave of my big long wand, I can mesmerise any soul and give unto you a secret word, that you may control the emotions of another. Jack grins and says, "That would be great. Mackerel fillets are in aisle 8. Now please, if you would be so kind, make the lad until 31 be mine. A night of bliss shall thence be made, and our debt will be repaid." "I will do as you bid, dear sir," saith the Great Rotundo, "and the word to unlock the man of your dreams will be gazebo." Gazebo. "And when I've finished my weekly shop, your wish will be done, and his heart shall be won. Now where do I find the cat litter? Oh, I see it. Farewell, dear sir. Give this spell an hour to take hold, and then you might cop a feel. Now why do I always get the trolley with the wobbly wheel?" Oh, Jack. There were nights of soul-searching, pondering on this trick of nature, this cruel twist of the mind, that certain physicalities should not elicit a sexual response. Or maybe he wasn't approaching it right. That those who went before and managed to propagate the human species had somehow seen beyond whatever it was that blocked his own path to true sexual excitement. He'd seen boobs, and they didn't do anything for him. In fact, they'd put him off blancmange for life. At night, in the gloom of his room, he would envisage a world in which it didn't matter at all. A hopeless fantasy that people such as he could exist unimpeded and quite legally, and nobody would bat an eyelid. If he and Simon, oh, it was always Simon, if he and Simon might stroll hand in hand and it not matter in the slightest. Simon, the son of sensual spring. Simon excites from deep within. Simon, the sweetest, such sugary soul. Simon, his sanity he hath sneakily stole. And Jack, tossing in his bed, nights of foul acclaim, his heart aflame, life itself mocking through his own biology. How could it ever be? How cruel the night if his desires can be so wrong. Then how can anything else be right? Simon stocking shelves, Simon laughing with his colleagues, Simon playing the fool, Simon running in the corridor, as if towards the future, as if impatient, as if he has so much to do. It's 1992. Simon and he, together, free. Simon. An hour passes. of celestial expectation. He can barely conceal his lustful excitation. Sweeps and mops with a flair and a smile and a grin that those who might impart from within his soul so gleeful in this shopper's paradise, an outcome to his afternoon, which would be frankly rather nice. And then he sees Simon. Until 31, he catches his breath and his heart beats like a drum, approaches all nonchalant and practices the word gazebo, gazebo, gazebo. Simon's queue is not long, and he's smiling as he's working, intent and good humour lurking beneath his curtains. And then it's just the two of them, alone at last, and the world thrums with a sudden possibility. "Hey," says Simon. "Hey," says Jack. "Look how warm it is out there. We should be allowed to work outside, you know, under a gazebo." To which Simon smiles, tilts his head, brushes his hair away from his face and replies, "Bok, bok, 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 bok." Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. The future has passed him by, his well of love is almost dry. Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. He'll be stuck forever here, he's almost been here half a year. Barcode blues, he's got those barcode blues. Life just gets in the way, nobody suspects he's...
Hello there, Tony here. I'm gonna be your ground control. How's it going, kiddo? I hope you had a good rest. Have you had some of your protein mush yet? Nothing better than a nice plastic bag of protein mush. I just had a Cornish pasty. Got a message here from the kids at St Jude's Middle School. It says, "Hello. Our teacher, Mrs. McClintock, is making us write this. We wanted to ask you how you have a dump up there. But she says to ask for something more serious. So what we would like to know is, can you still get a signal on your phone? Or have you got Wi-Fi? Good luck, Mrs. McClintock's class." Okay, kiddo. Here's the next randomly selected story. Just for you.
Our history books are filled with tales of daring do, adventurers, seafarers, salty sea dogs and peg-legged captains, fishy tough heroes whose brine-soaked beards cling with moisture like jewelled suspended stars, salt-caked jackets hardened with oceanic excess. How inspiring! Their talked of naughtiness of the high seas, masts aglow with St Elmo's fire, pirates in the rigging, and the infernal discharge of rusty blunderbusses. Yet things are certainly different these days. On a mill pond sea, inky black, reflecting stars in all their celestial magnificence, the container vessel MSC Mercury Thora Herd, hulking, its behemoth hull silent as a ghost, ploughing between continents with crates of tapped plastic merchandise, dodgy exports. Intrepid at heart, though in actuality hired only by the shipping company to trim the topiary which decorated the atrium of the main stairwell, Keith Pinkerton found himself, once the privet had been clipped, with long hours each day, in which there was nothing for him to do. So he would wait for the fall of night, feeling the ghosts of seafarers past rise up within him, eschewing the company of his fellow shipmates for solitary wanderings amid the crates. He'd creep past creaking metal boxes alone, for it is a sultry night, the hot metal deck throbbing, equatorial, towering containers intersecting, stacked upwards, all angular, forming skyscrapers and city blocks, grid iron walkways, an imaginary city with a population of one, and the breeze which whistles through. He finds a private place, a rectangular courtyard of his own near the bow, stark, that he might lie there, surrounded by right angles and commune with the sighing wind. Deep, powerful engines throb through him, pulsing their diesel propulsion as he stretches out flat on the deck, coated thick with non-slip paint, the stars above unmoving, the universe so soothing. From the ether, a miasma, a fog of sudden form, eerie solidity within the sea spray, taking the shape of a man with an exuberant moustache. Whoever could this half-form phantom be? A pirate from days of yore? A sailor with malevolent intent? A sea devil in human form about to take his soul? Or is it the ghost of early 20th century French novelist Marcel Proust for some reason? Bonjour, he says, so possibly the latter. What do you want from me? Keith asks, taken aback by the sudden apparition and, bizarrely, checking to see if his flies are undone. I've been watching you, says Marcel Proust. Whatever for? The sea is filled with macho types, hurly-burly heroes and sailors with rippling biceps, rugged battleship commanders and submarines. There's nothing out here for a man like me, except about once every now and then when a cruise ship comes past, playing an ABBA tribute band. How lifeless, how barren this place can be for someone like me, Marcel said. The sea heaves like a breath exhaled, containers groan with obviousness, stars in all their beautiful magnificence, omniscient. Am I really so camp? Asks Keith. Oh, please, Marcel replies. You're camper than a bus full of mermaids being driven by a starfish. I thought I hid it well, Keith replies. You're lucky, says Proust. I come from a time when the love that I had could never be revealed, only hinted at. But I had a cunning plan, subtly changing the names of the men I adored in my fiction, and giving them feminine approximations. Albertine, Josephine, Geraldine, Henrietta, Roberta, and I tell you, nobody suspected a thing. What do you want from me? Keith asks. The first time I saw you, off the coast of Cameroon, lit by the moon, down in the boiler room, my heart went boom, ticky boom, ticky boom. But Keith is not impressed.
You don't know what my life is like, he says. Nights in lonely cabins, my formative years at Naval College, the whole time spent gazing at my belly button. Then an apprenticeship on a battleship, learning the ropes on the HMS Hindrance, lonely bunks and shirtless hunks, dockside manners and gangplank dreams, a life surrounded by seamen. Dance with me, says Marcel. Dance with me, to the music of the moment. We all carry baggage and various cargoes. Dance with me to the memory. I'm serious, delirious. Dance with me and the midnight burn. This may be the bow of the ship, but I'm really quite stern. Dance with me. Not right now, says Keith. He asked Marcel if Marcel loved him, and Marcel said that he most certainly did. And he told Marcel that he really would have to stop this nonsense, and Marcel replied, every relief is just a postponement of grief, Keith. And Keith said, what does that mean? And Marcel said that his life was already incredibly complicated, what with the fact that he lived on a container vessel and it had lots of stress, what with looking after the topiary in the main atrium, and that if the captain should one day see even the smallest speck of leaf mould or green fly, then he might go off on one. And Marcel said, let me be a comfort for you. And Keith said, no, no, no. And Marcel told Keith that it really was like they were two different people. And then he evaporated into a cloud of sea spray. The tinny tap of work boots on the moving metal floor, speckled damp by sea spray and hardened salt in this dank deck, quick stepped so very much like falling through someone else's dreamscape. Look at him now, he's got the rhythm, baby, he's got the moves, not like last week when he threw his back while dancing to Kylie in his cabin. Oh, how he's put everything into this ship, every emotion and every aspect of his being. Oh, the hull is more the sum of its parts. He winds his way back towards the accommodation deck, back through the darkened blocks, the tall gleaming bridge letting himself back into its industrial brightness. At that moment, a shimmering kaleidoscopic coalescence of mist and sea fog, taking on the most ludicrous shape, and from nowhere, from the ether, appears the unmistakable flamboyance of Oscar Wilde. Dearest Keith, says he. To which Keith replies, yeah, not right now, thanks. I've had a rough night. Nothing to worry about, kiddo. But Jim down in engineering was just going through a drawer, and he's found some nuts and bolts that are supposed to have been fitted to your aft stabilizers. As I say, nothing to worry about. Just don't go relying too much on your aft stabilizers. You got that? Aft stabilizers. Nothing to worry about, kiddo. Enjoy some more of your protein mush. It's good for you. And here's your next randomly selected story. Something else to inspire you on your journey. There, I think that's put him at ease. I've told him about the aft stabilizers and said there's nothing to worry about. Can you believe I just gave him the old nothing to worry about line? Oh dear, oh dear. Oh bloody hell, I've left the microphone on. Derek Dubbins is on duty. Dour. He damps down the desk with a bleach-soaked dishcloth. Rain-macked tourists huddle in the doorway. With rucksacks the wrong way round, Derek sneers, scrubs harder. His knuckles whiten while his regular clientele read the Daily Mail and nod in agreement with the letters to the editor. This is not the sort of place where you might ask for soya milk. A traditional establishment, harking back to a past that never was. A display cabinet of scones, jam tarts, a framed photo of Margaret Thatcher, and another of that mad orange-faced gibbon, you know the one. And Derek himself, gammon red and incensed by subjects as diverse as breastfeeding, health and safety regulations, the rights of minority groups, croissants. Nothing makes his blood boil more than the expression, live and let live. In short, he's a bit of a cock. But Brad does not know this. Brad, eager and carefree and delicately attired in a plain white t-shirt and 3/4 length trousers, Converse All-Stars with no socks. Brad, sunny demeanour, a fervent believer in the goodness of other souls, though quite possibly wearying after the first 10 minutes. Brad lays his slender and manicured fingers on the freshly bleached desk and asks, "Would it be possible to order a wedding cake?" "Why, of course," says Derek. "Who's the lucky bride to be?" "Oh," replies Brad, "that would be me." Then lets out a laugh. "Or my partner, my love, my other half, Bradley." "What?" Derek asks. "Yes, I know I call him Bradley because otherwise we'd both be called Brad. Nothing worse than shouting out your own name during an orgasm." "No," he replies. "No," he replies. "No, I don't need your custom here. I don't need your cash. Your ways and whims make a mockery of my beliefs. Just go, just dash before I call the police." And brandishing his stainless steel cake tongs, Derek watches as Brad takes leave. Silence descends upon Much Ado About Muffins. Nervous cleared throats and the occasional rustling of the Daily Mail. All is as it should be. The dead of night, a moonless midnight, a silence so deep it stuns. The kitchen refrigerator quietly hums. Derek slumbers under his duvet, dreaming dreams of a new day where people know their place. How great life would be if everyone were like he. He imagines a world without. Fairies appear at the kitchen window. Their dainty wings beat softly on the pane. Each one emits an iridescent glow which sparkles, moves. They let themselves in and flutter round the room, 12 of them, waving their magic wands light as air. Gary, Bruce, Dave, John, Roger, John, Dave, Bruce, Gary, Roger, and Sebastian. They land on the marble worktop. "Okay, girls," says Bruce, "you know what to do. We're here to celebrate a love that's true. Let's use our fairy dust and bake with all our might.
and feel proud of our efforts at the end of the night. Let's get to work. Let's light the lamp. It's like the shoemaker and the elves, except a little more camp. Okay, girls, let's do this. They make the base, they drain the dregs, they roll and knead and beat the eggs. They laugh and joke, they take a risk. They craft and cook, they cut and whisk. They stir and mix and prod and bake, and ice and fill the wedding cake. And there it stands so tall and glad. Congratulations, Brad and Bradley. The fairies sit back and gaze at their efforts. A tripled tiered masterpiece with icing gently soulful like a rococo palace. By turns baroque and stately, it stands as a testament to the love which propels the planet itself throughout its lonely orbit. We shall bring Brad first thing, says Bruce. Show him the cake and then our work here will be done. At that moment, the fairies hear the trundling, lolloping footsteps of Derek on the old rickety staircase, and his baritone voice booming fee, fi, fo, fum. I'm off to have a dump. Derek spies a suspicious sparkling, creaks open the kitchen door, and there before him the wedding cake in all its majestic splendour. The words "Congratulations, Brad and Bradley" spiking his heart with a vengeful angst. He goes bloody ballistic, tears into the fresh frosting and flings it frantically out the back door and into the yard, where it lands next to the recycling bins. He turns and stamps back up the stairs. Stampy, stampy, stampy. What an absolute bellend. Well, ladies, says Bruce, no use standing round here all night with a face like a slapped arse. You know what to do, my lovelies. They make the base, they drain the dregs, they roll and knead and beat the eggs. They laugh and joke, they take a risk. They craft and cook, they cut and whisk. They stir and mix and prod and bake, and ice and fill the wedding cake. And there it stands so tall and glad. Congratulations, Brad and Bradley. Again, the fairies stand back to admire their efforts. In divinity does the cake seem to defy gravity, its delicate frosting reminiscent of a winter's forest, and equally ethereal the finely spun sugar lacing, like dew on a spider's web. As tentative and timeless as love in all its glory, less a cake and more a hymn to matrimony. We shall bring Brad first thing, they say, so he can pick up his cake, and then, oh, then our work here is done. At that moment, bugger me, the trundling, lolloping footsteps of Derek on the old rickety staircase, and his baritone voice booming, "Hey diddly-dee, I've come to have a wee." A moment or so later, the second cake joins the first in the backyard next to the recycling bins, which he never uses anyway, and most of the fairies can see a pattern forming here. "All right," says Bruce, "we'll have one last crack at this." They make the base, they drain the dregs, they roll and knead and beat the eggs. They laugh and joke, they take a risk. They craft and cook, they cut and whisk. They stir and mix and prod and bake, and ice and fill the wedding cake. And there it stands so tall and glad. Congratulations, Brad and Bradley. For a third time, the fairies stand back, for the cake is a corpulence of crusted creams, daintily drizzled with delicious dustings of sweetness,
white with ice frosting. A triple-layered dream held up with Corinthian columns, finely sculpted, decorative, dainty daisy chains. It stands as a hymn to love, a monument to the deepest adoration, the passion which keeps us all from going insane. A door opens upstairs, followed by the trundling, lolloping footsteps of Derek on the old rickety staircases. Tiddly-om-pom-pom, I think I've got the runs. There's silence. He pushes open the kitchen door. He sees the cake in all its majesty. Congratulations, Brad and Bradley. And just as he's about to lunge, Bruce, the fairy, suddenly appears right in front of him, lit up in ethereal light in the dark of the kitchen light. Ah, says Derek. You, says Bruce. Keep away, says Derek. What the fuck are you? I mean, seriously. I am the ghost of Christmas past, says Bruce. Really, says Derek. Nah, says Bruce. Keep away, says Derek. Keep away, keep away. Just what do you want from me? The fairies surround him, but there's no menace. The glow of their wings flits across the ceiling, iridescent magic reflecting back from pots and pans. We want you to love, says Dave. We want you to cherish life, says Jim. We want you to open your eyes, says Bruce, and see that there's much else beyond your faded, jaded, introspective worldview. Love is a dream for many. Love is a ludicrous nonsense. Love is the aim of every soul. Love should never be banished. Love is a celebration. Love is the glue that keeps us all sane. Love is more than just a game. And love does not care for labels. Love is a miracle whenever it occurs. A passion shared is doubled, and it spreads, soars, fills the world and builds it up. There were generations who couldn't. The world rattled with their silent screams. It happens today in places less free. Hearts torn in twain by the thunder of disapproval. Lives ruined amid the scream of self-righteous bullies. He who stands against love stands against life itself. There's a magic in the air. As Derek feels a weight lifted, he sees the world anew, then stares deep into his own soul, shudders at what he sees. Deafening and darkness and the Daily Mail, hatred dictated by front-page opinions and the need to appear big. You're right, he whispers. Love shall be celebrated, and I'd be proud to play my part. At that moment, a lonely sunbeam slants through the window, signals the dawn of a new day, and in walks Brad, accompanied by a rather bemused Bradley. Gary, Roger and Sebastian. Proudly and with a tear in his eye, Derek announces here, with all the blessings of my humble tea shop, and with honest and newfound best wishes for a happy life together, please accept this splendid wedding cake. Bradley smiles and leaps for joy, then bends down and inspects the cake carefully. That's very sweet of you, he says, and it's a beautiful cake. But I have a wheat intolerance, and I'm allergic to dairy products.
Hey, you'll get a kick out of this, kiddo. Someone just asked me what department I work for here at the Space Centre. just outside Taunton. And I meant to say ground control, but what I actually said was ground coffee. What a nutter I am. Anyway, your catastrophic failure imminent warning light is on. Nothing to worry about. I've asked Janet down in logistics, and she says you just need to hit it with your shoe, and it might go off. Anyway, hope you're having a good flight, kiddo. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The cold of space is a dark lagoon. A void so real the silence looms of afternoons and shepherd moons. This steel tin can, this hollow tube, I feel so rude. I decide to get nude, float around and act quite lewd. Perhaps I was a little bored. But in space things move of their own accord, for I am the man, this is my tin can. And then I remember the live feed webcam. Whoopsie!
1, 2, 3, 4.
I get dressed and apologise to the school from North Dakota. The planet Venus looms in the window. I find the telescope, wittily named by previous crews the Venus Enlarger, and stare down at the swirling mists of its sulphurous, poisonous atmosphere. And I become transfixed by the beauty of another world, a separate entity, a fog-bound rock untrained by the permutations, the failings, the horror, the unblemished nastiness, the intolerance, the screaming egos, the bickering, the environmental chaos, the affiliations, the ruins, and the cultural insensitivity of planet Earth. And that's just the squirrels. And a sense of peace falls over me, like a pyramid of displayed toilet rolls of contentment in the supermarket aisle of absolute oneness. Ah, but what is this?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Dancing dots on my vision. Tiny moving punctuation, commas and full stops. Perhaps a semicolon. Zooming above the Venusian clouds like seagulls behind a trawler. I blink. But they're real. No hallucination is this, their movement imbued with malevolent intent. Furious and buzzing and busy like bees, and then, as one, they coalesce, come together, and coordinate their flight, start to get bigger as they traverse the miles between Venus and the Starship Poopscoop. Incidentally, I've called my spacecraft the Starship Poopscoop. I put down the telescope and gasp as the sun glints from these metal objects. Closer and closer they get until they begin to spin around the craft. Captain's log, I whisper into my voice recorder. Stardate, July the 15th. Oh, bugger. A glimpse. A flash of metal flesh outside the window mesh. Robots, humanoid in form. They swarm around the craft, metal and solid, and yet they seem moist. Clonking, whirring, circuits, purring, synchronised machinery, needs a wash cleanery. Might be faulty, WD-40, smelly robots, bad robots, moist, moist, moist. Gleaming, humid, computerised, scheming, stainless, still yet strangely moist. Seemingly humanoid, body odour paranoid, hot planet, sultry planet, moist, moist, moist. Rusting armpits, rusting clamps, rusting sensors, oddly dank. Rusting solenoids, rusting androids, social faux pas, moist, moist, moist. Obedient, expedient, antiperspirant, armpit rubber flange kicking up a stink. Pungent, clammy, drippy, drizzly, time for an upgrade. What do you think? Clonking, whirring, circuits purring, synchronised machinery needs a wash cleanery. Might be faulty, WD-40, smelly robot, bad robot, moist, moist, moist. I shrink back as they make contact. The door of the craft opens. A blaze of intense light, bright white. I shield my eyes and watch as a moist robot stands before me, holds out its pungent, clammy hand and booms.
Are you Darren Jenkins?
No, I reply. Oh, he says, our mistake. We won't bother you any more. And with that, he turns around. Wait a moment. You can't just leave. You've hardly given me time to breathe. You can't just say something like that and then run away. Now tell me, what in the blazes is this all about? The shoulders of the moist robot visibly slump. He turns towards me and says, we've lived for a millennia on a peaceful planet, orbiting a star of serenity, our lives dedicated to the fulfillment of goodwill throughout the galaxy and the invention of anti-rusting agents. But then one fateful Wednesday, just after lunch, word came that our star had been bought and renamed by one Darren Jenkins as a quirky birthday gift for his girlfriend, Janet, and imbued with righteousness and a wish not to spoil that which was no longer legally ours, fled planet Janet, so that Darren Jenkins of Nuneaton might one day come and claim that which is rightfully his, vowing only two things: to live now on the planet Venus in all its clammy, moist horror, and if we ever met him, to meet Darren Jenkins and give him a damn good frowning. We bid you good day, sir, and apologise as one. Help us put right what we have done. What would you like more than anything else? Money? Or health? Or a cake? Or a nice surprise? Or maybe just a magazine for the long ride home? To which I close my eyes and let my heart do the talking. All I've ever wanted is a man who loves me dear. The sweetest smile and a light caress, he'd take away my fear. With eyes like planets, like stars, like jewels, like a prayer to answer my dreams. With skin like sea smooth Saharan sand, so unblemished and pristine. With limbs so long, so luscious, so sturdy, he looks good in Primark cut-off jeans. With a conscience so attuned it lights up the room. Oh my God, we'd be really obscene. With his classical beauty, he'd be such a cutie. With the rampant masculinity he invokes, with the smile in his eye, nothing passes him by, and he laughs at each one of my jokes. With a love unconditional, yet oddly traditional, he never once looks at other blokes. With displays of emotion and absolute devotion, please tell me this isn't a hoax. With muscles so strong and his arms so long, he can lift an ox right over his head. With a dexterous, supple, gymnastic physique, it's like yoga what we do in bed. With lusty passion of bloom, we have sex in each room and a fumble or two in the shed.
With his fertility, sexuality, his consuming practicality. Forget sex, he says, I'll do the washing up instead. All I've ever wanted is a man who loves me dear. The sweetest smile and a light caress, he'd take away my fear. A flash of light. Where am I? Where is this? He's stretched across the sofa. White t-shirt, Primark cut-off jeans, long, gosh how they're long legs. A handsome face and an easy smile, muscular arms and a very small tattoo of... Oh, me! Not too thin, not too tall, not too handsome, not too camp, not too stylised, not too homogenised, not too formal, slightly damp. A day's growth of stubble, and to the side he's gone to the trouble of doing the ironing and folding up my laundry. I get up. He gets up too. I've seen him so often in my dreams. Oh, I bet he's even got the name I gave to him. The cutest, sexiest, most romantic name, and indeed this is the case. Hi, he says, I'm Stephen. Oh, Stephen. Let's get to know each other. We walk around the periphery of the... What is this place? This glass dome, evidently, our home. Mysterious mist swirling beyond the curved glass. Do you like chocolate? Yes. Do you like red wine? Yes. Do you like strawberries? No. No, me neither. Do you like ice cream? Yes. Do you like pop music? Yes, Justin Bieber. Yeah, me too. Do you get oddly turned on by a man in a Viking helmet? Yes. Yeah, me too. Do you ever see something sensual on the road map of the A303? Yes. Yes, me too. Is your ultimate sexual fantasy to make love in a cement mixer? Yes. Yes, me too. Both in the cab and in the back. Oh my God, yes, me too. Stephen, you got me believing. This love that we have is true. Stephen, you must be receiving 1,000 desires I'm sending to you. Stephen, I'll start retrieving every single fantasy I've wanted to do. Stephen, I think I'm achieving a love of life, and it's thanks to you. We kiss and smile and laugh and dance, and fortune smiles on luck and chance, and we make sweet love in the shower, and sweet love in the wardrobe, and sweet love in the cupboard under the stairs, and sweet love in the bath, and for a bit of a laugh, sweet love on the dining room table. And he can tell without saying what I'm silently praying. Each moment is a picture and painting, a portrait of absolute and unrelenting joy. My God, it was a really good day. I show him one of my poems. He says it's brilliant. I tell him a joke and he grins. I cook him a lasagna and he eats the lot. I ask him to take out the bins. He takes out the bins, and when he's finished taking out the bins, he makes us a cuppa. And then we sit on the sofa with our tea. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. This isn't right. The give and take of emotion on fate, the subtle convolutions of an everyday romance, random beauty withheld, there's no weight, no negotiation, no negativity, is everything I've ever wanted, and yet
He's as boring as hell. What's the point of wants and needs if they're immediately satisfied? He's eradicating all of my ambition, everything I've ever wanted, and yet he's as boring as hell. My heart is not a plaything. I stand at the concave window of the dome and gaze out at the swirling mists, jagged bursts of lightning. The clouds are dancing with the electric dragons of Venus, formless shapes silhouetted against the glass, hand in hand around this upturned fishbowl. Moist robots gently humming, and just for a moment I wonder what it would be like to make out with a giant squid. "Stephen," I whisper, "do you know what I was just thinking? Do you know what I was just thinking?" I turn around, and Stephen is now a giant squid. There are tentacles everywhere. I scream as he advances towards me. A flash of lights. I'm back aboard the capsule. Planet Venus is getting smaller in the window. These are the voyages of the Starship Poopscoop. I feel the sudden pull of the centuries, that those who have always yearned at the soft caress of forbidden love now stand proud beyond their own lifetime. These souls of fire, with generous intent, sensuous dreams, a sad lament, that love in its heat be no beast untamed, a source of revulsion, a conscience shamed, a work of art, a portrait framed, the supermarket janitor in search of a mate, the high seas merchant seaman approaching his fate, the lovers for whom society must wait. Captain's log, stardate, tea time. I see it now. My community is everything I hoped it would be. It's a wonderful day. I can finally now say I've learned to be gay.
You're in safe hands, kiddo. We've got you on our radar. Your boosters are fine. Your heat shield is intact. We've done this so often, it's a matter of fact. Was it everything you hoped it would be? Was it worth it? I know that dreams aren't always what they seem, even if you dared to dream them in the first place. I know you felt at times you were a million miles from home, but you were never alone. And while every emotion is unique, others have been near, others have felt the same. Splashdown in 20 seconds. Welcome home, kiddo. Welcome home.